This is the map of Riga, and I'm sorry, but I think it's ugly. The colors are dull, the sites look uninspiring, and overall the map is just kind of boring. So I want to change that. I want to make a better map. I love traveling, and one of my favorite things to do when I visit a new city is to get a map from that city, and I get extra excited if the map is actually illustrated. And I want one for Riga. I think the city is stunning with beautiful architecture, towers and skylines. It deserves to have one too. So, the first thing I wanted to do is to analyze the map. Why did they make a map like this? And how can I make it better? And I found quite some interesting things about this map. First of all, this map has a lot of information. It has the names of the roads, all the interesting sites you should see, tram and bus information of how to get to these specific places, the post office, the bathrooms, and overall the map is big because a lot of the sites are far apart. A lot of the main sites are in the old town, but there's still quite some things to see out of the old town, like the Art Nouveau street or the Latvian National Library. So this map actually has a lot of information. I think this is one of the most informative maps I've ever seen. Not only does it have stuff on the front, but there's also stuff in the back that shows you where the public transportation actually takes you. I also looked into their brand identity. What is the brand identity of the Riga Tourist Center? And it's very minimal and simple. Maybe elegant in some ways, but in some ways just minimal. So after collecting all the information, it's time to try and design something and see how it looks. I decided that my main goal is to just take the same map and just make it look better. I want to keep all the useful information that you can find in the map, but just make it prettier. Because I want to keep the map as it is, I'm mainly redesigning this part, and I want to keep this part still available for the text. I first started by gathering some references of maps that I like and don't like, and this was my main inspiration. I liked how simple it is and how there's some pops of color. I think this could really fit the Riga tourism branding. And so my next step was to illustrate one of the sites, in a similar style at least, or try it out and see how it looks. I wanted to keep the fact that all the sites and the map is kind of 3D-ish. I wanted to keep the 3D-ness, but make it more stylized. I really liked how this illustration turned out, but I encountered my first issue, is that I need to make it super small. So small that, honestly, the illustration of it doesn't really matter anymore. Do you ever work on a creative project and at some point you just want to die? I do not understand how to get what I want. So I was thinking of making the map bigger so that I can illustrate it more. But this is, I feel like, the max I can go. I could go wider. I could go bigger. But I feel like then the whole point is lost. Like, look at this beautiful map. I want it to look like this. Why is this so hard? But also here, the thingies are so small. I don't understand. Do not understand. Yeah, why is this... What's the point of this street? My finger is bigger than the freaking site. That's not how it should be. Or, I don't know. In this example it works because the sites are big and prominent. But in the map that I want to make, the sites need to be super tiny. So my current plan isn't working. And I'm not sure if I can actually make it better. And I only realized it now that everything is really small. Because everything is far apart, and therefore the map is big, and therefore everything is really small. And so how am I supposed to make something look good if everything is tiny? Now I understand why they made the map like this. Not only does it have a lot of information, but also it's just difficult to illustrate something well and understandable in a very small size. Honestly, I was crashing out. I did not know what to do, and I was ready to give up on this project. Because now I'm like, well, I get it. So I'm not sure if I can help with this. So I took a couple of days off, and I did the next best thing that I could do is to call a friend and ask for their feedback. Because I was ready to give up, and I needed some perspective. So I gave Julian the rundown of like what happened and why I was crashing out. And he told me a couple of really good things that made me rethink my plan. The first thing he said is if I'm gonna replicate the same aspects of the current map into my new map, I might end up with the same map. Because I was trying to put all the information that the current map has in my new map, there was very little wiggle room of making it better. So maybe I have to change some stuff up and remove some of the information from the current map. Secondly, he asked me what do I want to achieve with my new map. And I guess the answer for me is to have a cute map. The current map is very useful and has a lot of information in it, but I want my map to be more creative and cozy and aesthetic in a way. Last but not least, he told me that I'm already stepping out of my comfort zone making a map. And it's true, I never illustrated a map before, so this is already very new territory for me. And so why limit myself by adding even more restrictions to this process when I haven't even made a map that has no restrictions? So it was clear that things needed to change. I want to make a map that I would like. So I want to make it cute, colorful, and playful. One big change that I wanted to implement is instead of having a map here and the text here, is to have this whole part the map and this whole part the text. In this case, I can scale the map up a little bit and have the sides be a little bigger. And so I started from the beginning. I took some screenshots from Google Maps and started to outline the water, the ground, and the roads. And looking for color schemes. There's so many possibilities out there. I knew that I wanted to keep it light and colorful, but still natural looking, I suppose. So first I went to Adobe Cooler, but that didn't work, so I just stole some colors from another illustration. It feels illegal, but I think it is not. Well, I didn't steal, I just took some inspiration. And so after I had my colors more or less decided on, I started to outline and illustrate the main sites. And there were a lot of them. Hello, it's been a couple of days, and this is what we're working with. I think it looks kind of cute. I don't think it's not done at all. It still has so much work to do. There's so much work to do on this, but I think it's starting to look cute. I think it's kind of the vibe that I'm looking for. I'm not too sure about the colors. I do want it to be like a warm color palette. Here I was experimenting with the colors, and the blue looks kind of nice, but also it looks a little sad. And the white, yeah, I don't know. This one was kind of the best one, I think, and this is what we have now. I like how it's turning out. I'm not too sure about this. This white looks nice. This one is so confusing. I added outlines at some point. It also looked bad, so I'm not sure about that. But the rest look really cute. It's been a week since I started working on this project, or 2 weeks. I don't know, I lost count, but I have something to show. Mamma mia, look at this. Look, I made that. I made this. Look how cute it looks. I think it looks stunning. I have little trees. I have little houses that are just kind of for the background. I have little sites. Little markers. The map isn't close to being done, so I want to put some street names. I want to fix this. I think this looks bad. I want to make the back of the map that shows like this explanation of all of these thingies. But overall, look how beautiful this is. I'm so happy. All I needed to do now is to make the back. I kind of forgot about that, but I do need to make the back side of the map that showcases all the pins that are numbered. I had a couple of trial and errors. I was trying to make it colorful or less colorful. It took me a day or two. I was trying out different compositions and colors and sizes, and I think I ended up with something that I'm happy with. So ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, this is the new Riga map. This is the cover. I think it looks very cute. And then you open it up. And voila. I think I am so proud of how it looks. I love it. It looks so cute. I think it showcases the sides pretty well. And other things, this is the back. The back looks okay. I wouldn't say it's my proudest graphic design, but I think it shows clear signs of where everything is, and I think it looks very cute. There's a couple of things that I want to showcase, mainly the details that went into this map. For example, here we have houses and little cars. I wanted to fill this space up with something, but I also didn't want to distract from the main sites, so I decided to make them as the same color kind of as the background. But I still wanted to keep the park very nice and juicy, as you can see, because I think it brings a lot of life and liveliness into the map. One of the biggest changes that I did to the sites is focusing more on the tower part rather than the whole building, because I think the towers are the most iconic parts of these sites, and also they're a very prominent feature of the city, especially when you are here or here you can see them from afar. So I think having them as towers is a good compromise. I also have street names, but I didn't name every street, and not all streets are outlined, especially here, because there's so many streets you can just easily get lost and then find your way out. So I think having all the streets named is not really necessary. I mainly focused on the main streets so that you don't get lost. Last but not least, I also added this museum that for some reason isn't mentioned. I mean, it's quite far from everything, but I wanted to have it here. And I added something else. I don't remember what, but I remember that I did add it. I just don't know where it is. I also kept the toilet signs and the public transportation thingies because I would find it quite useful to know where things are. Honestly, I wish I could make the map even bigger because I know there's some stuff here that I often go to or sometimes go to. And also here, there's some things, interesting things that tourists might be interested in. But I think if I would have included it in this map, in this size, these things would have needed to be even smaller, and that would be just impossible. But yeah. And now all I have to do is send a little email to the tourism agency, and hopefully they would want to maybe collab. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.